Hello again, Magnus Holberg behind the microphone. Tonight we're going to look at how to select a pump based on a system that we have. But before we go in and use the program for doing this, I just wanted to suggest that you look at the videos where I talked about the piping system and how to find the resistance, quote unquote, or the pressure losses in a piping system. Also, I would suggest you look at the video where I talked about the pump curve and what the pump curve is. But for now, let's go in. When we start, we will start with head loss calculation. And what is that? Basically, we're now going to look at the piping system versus flow and piping material and so forth and so on. So, I will not go into detail in all of these headings, but we'll start here. We'll select one pump for do the pumping. We'll select a flow of 15 liters per second. And we assume a static head of, let's say, 10 meters. And the static head, if you watched the videos before, you know that's the level between where you're going to pump from and where you're going to pump to. Then we know the distance we're going to pump. We say that it's 2,000 meters. And also, now we have the pipe length. We know this is the distance we're going to pump. And now we have to choose what pipe are we going to pump through. So we go into pipe material first. And there's a couple of different selections you can make. But today, most common is PE or polyethylene pipes. So we choose a PE pipe. And also, we've chosen the pipe material. Now we choose what type. Here is also different type of selections, but they all have different meanings here, but I won't go into that. But we'll just choose this one for this exercise. Here we have nominal pressure, and that's the pressure class of this pipe, and that's PN10, which means that it's okay for 10 bars or 100 meter water column. Now, here comes the part which will give us the resistance in the pipe. What size of pipe are we going to choose? For this, I'm going to choose a DN140 pipe. So DN140, when you talk about polyethylene or PE pipes, is the outside diameter. So I will choose that. And here, the program will tell you that the inner diameter is 123.4. And of course, the inner diameter is what is relevant for us. That is where the, how should I say, resistance or pressure losses are generated. So we've said that we want one pump, flow 15 liters per second. We have measured the levels, so we know that between the points we're pumping, there is a plus 10 meters between those 2 points. We have selected PE and with a DN140 pipe. Now, we're done so far. But as I told you before, in this pipe you will have the connection to the pump, you will have bends, 90 degrees bends, so forth and so on, flow meters, valves, you name it. And that means that we have to also put in what type of things we put in this pipe. First, we have something called discharge connection, which you always have from a pump. So we'll add one here. And here you have what's called a zeta value, and that's a friction coefficient, which based on the flow will give you a head loss. And here, elbows, DN140, that's the bends. And let's say that we have a rather long pipe, so we try to make it straight, but we have, let's put 5 of these bends. Then we have non-return valves, or also called check valves. We have one at the pump, so we'll put one there. And if we have an inlet to the place from where we're pumping, we should also have a factor for that. But now we go on to, I will just put down here, we can add some valves. Let's say we have 2 or 3 valves on this pipe. So now we have put in what we have on the pipe. we have put and defined what pipe we have, how long it is, and what flow. So now we have here the total head that this system will put on the pump, so to speak. So with this, let's put OK, because we're done with the head loss calculation. We have defined our piping network, so we push OK. And now you come out and you see design flow 15 liters per second, total head 48.7 or like 50 meters something, static head 10. Now before I press to choose a pump, I will just say, if you know total head and flow, you don't have to do a head loss calculation, of course, but I think most of these type of programs will help you with a piping system also. And that can also be very useful when you're not designing a pump. But if you look at piping system where you make, well, I won't get into that. But anyway, so let's choose a type of pump. And I know that 3000 pumps are existing, so I put 3000, which is a sewage pump. And now the program is looking over what pump will fit a point so we can pump those 15 liters per second at the head loss of about 50 meters. So here you see the program choose different type of pumps. And again, I won't go into the different type of pumps because that's not in this exercise. But here you see the program has selected, it says difference, but this is how well the pump matches your design points. So let's have a look now. We just click here and you look at the pump, or the pump curve is what you get up. So here you see you have 14.8 liters per second, and here you see the pump curve for this specific pump. So with this pump you will get about 50 liters per second at a level of 48 meters. So this pump could probably do the trick. And then also in most of this program, if you push PDF, we can have a look at what pump we've chosen. And here you have a picture of that pump. But again, you also have a lot of data here. But what I've tried to show you now is how to make a selection of a pump. But you need to know what you're doing and look at your piping system before you go into the selection of the pump. With that, I think we'll end the pump selection section and we'll go to my favorite part, the pictures. So I really hope you learned how to select the pump, but most of all, understand a little bit how it works and what you are selecting. With that, I'll show you a picture of a pub, the Black Sheep Arms. That is that's my favorite pub here in Visby. I don't go to so many, but I don't have to. This is a very good pub. I think this picture is from when the Island Games was here, and there were some very far away visitors, and it was some really, really nice games. Last picture, nothing to do with Island Games, just two ducks swimming, thinking about how it would be if they, well, I don't know what they're thinking. With that, thank you, and remember, water really rocks. Take good care. Bye-bye.